What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Successful Sundays. I'm just gonna pop over here. We gonna get this going. What up, y'all? Welcome to another Successful Sundays and happy first week of May. We hit it to May 3rd. Actually, today's my pops' birthday, so after this, I'm going to go and say what's up to pops. Before we get into anything, I want you to think about what you've accomplished in the month of April, what you are still working on that you're shifting into the month of May, and what you want to succeed in the month of May. What are some of the goals that you want to set for yourself? Or maybe it's a continuance of goals that you want to set. And this Sunday, we're going to be talking about a very important topic where it's basically like we're breaking down how we are no longer going to share our dreams with people who don't see it. I'm going to break down the silence because we're going to not so much silence ourselves, but we're going to protect our dreams and just kind of hold them closer to us. And I'm going to show you a framework that I use in order to protect what we were working on. So, first things first, we're going to start off, as always, with a deep breathing and an affirmation. Today's affirmation is I welcome feedback from others with open arms because it helps me grow and become a better human being. I'm just going to pop that there for you. I welcome feedback from others with open arms because it helps me grow and become a better human being. At the end of the day, like we don't want to completely just cover our dreams that there's certain people that actually could help us in our dreams, but I'm going to show you how you could stop sharing your dreams with people who can't see them and how to protect them. So now we got the affirmation out the way. Let's take a deep breath in through our nose and sigh it out through our mouth. And I want you to think about what it is that you're working, all the good intentions that you want to bring into the new month. All right. So in through our nose, good energy. Anything that's been heavy, sigh it out. In through your nose, good energy. Anything that's been heavy, sigh it out. One more last time, in through your nose, good energy. Anything that's been heavy, sigh it out. Okay. So when we talk about the dreams that we're working on and people not really understanding what we're working on, you can't share everything with people that can't see your dreams because your vision is sacred. You got to look at it this way. When you visualize something, when you see something, when you know that this is what you want to work on and this is the thing that you're going to accomplish, not every and anybody you need to share what it is that you're working on. Some people have their own issues and they will push that onto you. And I'm going to break that down into the silent framework. We're going to work through that together. But first, before we get through that, I want you to think about those moments where you've shared your dreams or you've shared an accomplishment with somebody and you're so excited and you're just like, hey, I did this. I'm so excited. Can you imagine this? This is so great. And unfortunately, the person or the people that you're telling this stuff to, they immediately are acting as if they're a roadblock. They put you in a trap. So seeking their approval is a roadblock. I had a quote I wrote down in this very kitchen that said, like, we seek approval, but it becomes a roadblock to our own vision. And half the times that we want them to just embrace what we're doing, but they can't because they have their own roadblock. And then what it becomes a trap, right? And your vision doesn't need a committee vote. Your vision is your vision. Not everybody is going to understand it or see it. It's your vision that belongs to only you. Some people are not going to see it until they see the wind coming in. A lot of the times you'll notice you're trying to put people on and all of a sudden they're like, no, I don't want to do that. But when they see the work you've done, it's like, hey, any way that you could show me, you know what I'm saying? Like your vision is your vision. You do not need a committee or a vote. It's your calling. Your calling is your calling only. The only when you have a calling, you ever have a conversation, whether you believe in God or anything else, when it comes to you, personally for me, when I know that God wants me to do something, I just get it done. I'm like, all right. A long time ago, I surrendered. I just said, God, use me as your vessel. That's why this whole platform has been built. It's been built on God. Like God said, yo, I'm going to use you as a vessel. And I ran away for it for years. I was like, no, I'm not ready for that. And finally, when I surrendered, everything blew up. And that's another part of it. Maybe people don't see when you're doing some groundwork. Maybe they don't see when you're doing the nights, the long nights, the long days, Some stuff you may even have to do with no cost, but eventually it compounds over time. Remember, things always compound with interest over time and it builds over time. So it's the same thing with your time, your energy, and everything you put in. Not everyone's going to understand what you're doing, right? Not everybody is going to stand. Only you can answer your own vision at the end of the day. It doesn't belong to nobody else. And you can't try to explain what you're working on to people, like what you have going on, if they don't even understand what they should be doing for themselves. You can't. My mother always says you could bring a cow to the water, to the river, but you can't force them to drink. You can't. They have to be willing to. It's there. Either you drink or you don't. Right? It's the same thing when it comes towards your vision. It is yours. It is sacred. You don't have to share it with everyone. So let's break it down. I'm gonna move my big head over here. So first things first, it's silent. Now, when I have talked about being silent, and you don't always have to be silent with what you're doing, but I'm gonna break it down in a way where you know who, because that's a question I get a lot. Is like, okay, coach, you're telling me that I should protect it, but what if I want to share it? Which you can, but who do I share it to, and how do I know? I'm gonna break that all down for you guys today. Don't worry, I got you. So first thing, stop seeking the validation from people. Okay, identify who gets access. I'm going to break it down. Don't worry, I'm going to break it down. Let go of the need to explain. I kind of touched base on that. Execute your plan in private. Neutralize the noise, others' opinions. And lastly, trust yourself over the crowd. So let's start off with the very first one. I did write notes. Let's start with the very first one. When we seek the validation, we have to take a step back and ask ourselves why we're seeking validation. You know, sometimes we're like, can I do this? Or should I do this? Right? And we seek it from certain people. But the issue that we're finding ourselves stuck in, we're seeking it from people who have never even taken a step themselves. They've never even put in a pinky toe. They've never even tried. They've never even, tried to push the envelope in their own life. So we're seeking validation, thinking that these are the people that we need to like contact or the environments that we need to have the conversations with. But at the end of the day, they're actually not. And even though they're close to us sometimes, it doesn't mean like those are the folks that we need to have the conversation with. So that's one. So stop asking people who aren't even building themselves, or they're not even building with you, or they're not even open to building with you. You feel me? And you don't need people to get what you're doing. You don't need people to get it. Some people, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have some really day ones that when I explain what I'm doing, they're like, yeah, go do it. Like, get to it. But it took me a while, and it took this for me to realize there's some people I can't tell nothing to. And their approval at the end of the day is not a prerequisite for you to go after your dreams. Their approval, how they may think or feel or whatever the case is, sometimes they're going to push their own insecurities onto you. So you don't need their approval to make the first step on towards whatever it is that you are working on. You understand? Okay. So the next one is identify who gets access. Now, when you have a key card or something, right? Treat your dreams the same way. Whenever you give people access, let's say this, for example, this is the key card. Who are you giving the key card to your dreams and your visions? And at the same time, understand you can revoke access as well. You don't have to give them and they just keep the key card. You could revoke back the access as well, right? So this is where the tears comes in. I was talking about tears because some want to see you win, but they don't know how to support you, and it's not their fault. It's just the way they have been possibly raised or the environments that they're in. What is your responsibility is who you pick to even tell and who do you give access to. So I couldn't write it down here because there's not enough room because I wanted you to see this part. But the first tier is builders. Builders, I'm going to tell you, are sometimes outside of your circle. You may want to tell your circle what you're working on, but maybe you're the person that needs to be the one that builds, and then you show them what's up, or vice versa, right? That's the first one, builders. You want to be around the people who are actually building, and they're gonna help you build. Okay. The second tier is supporters. These are your day ones. These are people who are rocking with you. These are people, even if you make contact, they're automatically liking your stuff because they just want to support. They're watching everything you're doing, and they're just there to support you. They're like your cheerleaders. The third tier, this is the tier that you got to pay attention to the most. Funny enough, not the builders, not the supporters, it's the critics. That one right there can dismantle the first two tiers, because sometimes when the critics click in, that's where our self-doubt clicks in. That's where our overthinking will click in. So you have to protect the first two tiers away from the third. But we're identifying the third tier as critics primarily so that you're aware. There's going to be people, you tell them something so great news, and the builders and supporters are like, yo, that's big. Like, that's amazing. Critics come in, that ain't that great. And you have to be ready to hear that, or you just, as I said, we're not giving them access. That's why two is important. Identify, remember, identify who gets access. And at the end of the day, you know that you can revoke the access from them. All right. Three, let go of the need to explain. Not everything needs an explanation. Remember, I said their words are is not a prerequisite from you for you going after your dream and your vision. It's not. Okay. So you don't owe anyone an explanation, and don't feel obligated to share anything with anybody. If you want to, you will. Now, this is the tricky part that a lot of us go through, because it's like, how do I word this? How do I tell people? How do I tell people, yo, I'm not going to share this with you? Oh, good morning. Good morning, Shikana. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I always forget to go into the chats. All y'all who joined, I appreciate y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Um, but yes, this is a part that is hard for us, because you want to share things. Naturally, we're human beings. We want to tell people like what we're working on, but unfortunately, we can't tell everybody. So, or just think about it this way: if someone says, "Hey, what are you?" Simple as this: "What are you doing this weekend?" Oh, you know what? There's two things that I do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I either tell them like, "Oh, like I'm probably just gonna chill out," blah 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 blah. That is not my weekend. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I say I have plans. My plans is sitting on my couch in my robe. Ain't nobody business. Ain't nobody business. Some you don't gotta tell people what you're working on. Sometimes you just literally gotta tell people what they want to hear. And my pops taught me that one. Like, give people what they want to hear, because no matter what you do, whatever you tell them, they're still gonna be like fishing and want to know more. Give them what they want to hear sometimes. Or just tell them, look, I'm not at liberty to talk. I'm not ready to talk about what I'm doing right now. I'm not ready to talk about what I'm working on right now, right? Like I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to share what it is that I got going on. You don't always got to tell people what your next step is. Sometimes, and even after you accomplish your dream, I ain't gonna lie to you, and I learned this from so many people, just a small group of people. You still don't got to tell them after you accomplish it. You still don't got to tell. Again, it's not a prerequisite. It's optional if you want to share what it is that you got going on. It is totally optional. In fact, I would say even after you accomplish it, protect it, because there's still the same energy. Remember the critics, there's still the same energy that'll say blah 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 blah. Take for example, let's say you finally get your own spot. You finally get your own crib and you're happy about it. You're so excited. And the first thing that a person comes in as they point out the littlest things that don't mean nothing. Mind you, you're excited about it. You invited them to your home and they're critiquing. Sometimes you got to think about that. Should I even invite this person into my home? Should I invite them into my space? It's the same thing when it comes towards your dreams. You don't got to invite everybody into what you're working on. There's multiple things that I do, and social media doesn't know jack about it. My family sometimes don't know jack about it until it happens, and maybe well after. And it doesn't mean that I'm protecting it from them. It's just at the same time, it's energy too. I rather tell people something to tell versus I ain't got nothing to tell. I'll give you another example. There was a time when I was taking my driver's license, and I remember I did only one person knew, my best friend, shout out to her, and only one because she was helping me through it. And I remember I didn't tell anyone until I passed. I bought a car. I didn't tell my parents until they saw it in the driveway. And even then, my dad, it didn't click into my dad's head at the time. But he's like, oh, whose car is this? But yeah, like sometimes you don't have to tell everybody your moves. You just got to make the move and show them. Okay. All right. So four, which is execute your plan in private, which I kind of touched base on that just now when I gave an example about the car. I went, purchased my very first car. No one knew about it. Well, my brother, I'll say this, my brother and my uncle knew that I was looking because I needed some like advice. But beyond that, Three people knew. Sorry. Brother, uncle, best friend. That was it. Because they all had cars. They all helped me out. My parents had no idea. I just went and did it. And then they saw it, and that was it. So you could do things in private. You don't got to tell everybody what's going on. And sometimes I feel like social media has done that to us just a little bit, where we feel like we need to post everything. You don't need to post everything. I don't. Some things need to be still kept private. Some things need to just be kept close to you. All right. So yeah, so execute your plan privately. Don't announce anything until you've actually started it, until you've accomplished it. Feel me? Unless you know for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. But even then, keep it private as much as you can. The less you tell, the less they can discourage you. Because if you tell them some things, they're gonna try to get you off the path. You gotta understand. Sometimes it's not at their own fault. It's just how they are, and they haven't unlearned it. Some people will try to take you off the path the minute you start doing good, because it's kind of like, whoa, 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 where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? You're not going anywhere. You got to stay here with me. We're in the pits of bullshit. So we're going to stay in pits of bullshit together. But in the moment that you try to lift off like a balloon and say, nah, I'm going to go do this, they're going to try to pull you back, right? And they're going to try to discourage you. That's a stupid idea. Why you want to do that? Why would you want to go back to school? Why would you want to start reading more? Why would you want to start working out? Why would you want to start blah, blah, blah? Why would you want to go to therapy? Why would you want to mentor? Why would you want to coach? They're going to try to discourage you from everything. But it's your vision. Remember what I said. It's your vision. You don't need a committee vote. Your calling is your calling. It doesn't belong to anybody else. So the less you tell them, the less they'll discourage you. And it also removes a less amount of pressure. Because you ever find when you're working on something and you're just out there, you're working on it, and let's say hypothetically, nobody knows the sense of lightness you feel. If you only like your core people know, the people you know again. Remember, I said the top was your builders, top tier builders, top two tier is your supporters. The critics don't even know. Imagine if the critics didn't know and only your builders and supporters knew, and they're actually there to provide you with feedback. They're actually there to help you out. They're actually there to push you forward. The critics have no power. So this is why I say like, neutralize the noise. Sorry, execute your plan in private. Okay. Now we're gonna go to the next one, which is neutralize the noise, others' opinions, which I kind of touched base on it in the last step, which is execute your plan in private. Other people's doubt is not your data. So if a person is going through something and they have carried it for so long, it's embedded in them. Okay. It's embedded in them. The likelihood of them releasing it is very hard, but they would have to go through the work. It takes time, right? So that's not your data. You don't got to carry it. You don't got to carry it. I don't have, well, I'm using my phone, but on your phone, you could delete things like nobody's business, but it's on nobody else's phone. It's on yours. It's the same thing. That's their data. This is your data. You're not carrying their data. So whatever you're working on, whatever dreams you got, they can't see it because they can't see your data. So don't see what they got going on. Don't carry that. That's not your garbage. You're not a trash bag. Okay. Remember that one. Have, have they done what sorry, these are some of the questions that you want to ask. Have they done what you've done? Have they even made a pinky toe step into trying to do better? How are they building anything? Are they, and I'm not saying they got to do something massive like build a business. I'm saying like build the peace within themselves. Are they building the joy within themselves? Are they happy? Are they trying to just uplift folks, like what, or uplift themselves? Like, are they building anything? And is their is there, what they're saying, is it feedback to you or is it fear? Because people will push their fear on you, but what if they fail? And this is the part where I say, like, it's not like they're being mean about it. It's more of they're pushing what's happened to them possibly in the past, and they're afraid that you could fail, right? That could also be love in an odd way. So they're thinking, man, they just told me such and such, but what if it doesn't work out? What if they fail? Because I failed the time I did it, right? You got to ask yourself, and even when they push their fear on you, you got to keep pushing anyways. That's their fear. That's their baggage. That's not yours. Remember what I said? Their data is their data. It's not your data. Okay. Lastly, trust yourself over the crowd. Okay. Your self trust it it's worth more than any approval of a crowd or any approval of anybody else. A lot of people work in silence. A lot of people don't even, if you look at the folks that you probably look up to, they trust themselves more than they trust the crowd any day. Think about sports, think about anything that you are interested in. They had to have the trust in themselves more than the trust in any crowd around them, right? So, this is a few steps you could take right now, starting today, especially it's the beginning of the month. And I do this. I've talked about it before, but maybe you could start doing this now. In your notepad or even in a book, I just finished my notepad today. In your notepad, in your phone, I want you to open up and just, you could say like celebrate my wins or I'm tracking my wins for 2026. And for every month, you have to write in something that's a win for you. Okay. Every month. And just start with just May for now. Or you can even start with April. What are some of the wins that you had in April? And it doesn't have to be some big grand thing. Maybe you went outside. Maybe you I don't know, maybe you went for walks now. Maybe you got some stuff done on your car. Maybe you cooked for a whole week. It doesn't make a difference. What are some of your wins? The next thing you want to do is separate your voice from others. And again, I do believe out of all of them, I would say like this one is probably what sits with me the most personally. Execute your plan in private. Sometimes, and then, one more thing, if you have someone who does this, right, and they're close to you and they don't tell you till the time comes, don't get on them because they didn't tell you. They're protecting what their vision. They're protecting what they're working on. Well, how come you didn't tell me? There's a reason why. They're protecting it. Don't take an offense. Okay? They're doing the exact same thing that probably you would want to do as well. And make small decisions and honor them. So just think of one non-negotiable for this month. Just one. Just one. For me personally, it's been no longer drinking double espressos. I'm back to brewed coffee. Them things had my eye twitching. Had my twat. Oh, can you? Okay, hold on. Let me back up. Let me get out of the way. My bad. There you go. You can see it. Screenshot the board if you want to as well. Sorry, Shikana. My bad. I didn't see that till just now. But yeah, my bad. I didn't, because I'm out the way. But yeah, trust yourself over the crowd. Trust that you have the ability to do. You're welcome. Trust yourself that you have the ability to make it happen. This is your dream. This is your vision, yo. Ain't nobody gonna take you off of this. This is your calling. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I if I were to talk to my past self over, I'll say like, yeah, 15 years ago, would I be on social media the way I am? Would I be coaching people? Would I be doing keynote speeches? Would I be doing workshops within communities and schools? I probably would have said you've lost your mind. Would I be working with entrepreneurs? Would I be working with corporations? Probably would have told you like no. And I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of it I started with free. I'm not gonna deny that, but it built over time. I had to get better at what I do in order to provide, right? And it took a while to build, and I'm still building at the end of the day. But a lot of it I didn't tell anyone. I got to it. I just got to it. So not all the time that you got to share what you're working on. I think that's why this one is so, it sticks out to me the most, because there's been many moments where I just executed my plan in private. I just got it done. I just got it done. Stop seeking validation for my people pleasers. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is us. I used to, as a former people pleaser, this was me. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was 100% me. And identify who gets access. This changed. This was a game changer. Who do I give access to, and who do I revoke access to? This was a game changer for me. And also, I lost people along the way, and I lost environments along the way, and that's okay, right? That's okay. And let go of the need to explain. Kind of like these two work hand in hand. I don't explain everything to everybody. I don't. I definitely don't. And it's again been a massive game changer. And yeah, get the noise out, which kind of works. Identify. Yeah, these two work together, I would say. Others' opinions are others' opinions. Okay. And trust yourself, which is hard for a lot of us, especially if we're a former people pleaser. It's hard for a lot of us to trust ourselves. But over time, you have to remind yourself that your vision is sacred. Your vision is your vision. What you see, what you feel, what it is that you're working on is your vision. And whenever we try to seek approval, this is where it'll take us off our vision. The roadblock kicks in, the trap kicks in. And sometimes we ask ourselves, I don't know why I got this roadblock going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. We gotta sit back and just ask ourselves. And I do this with my clients all the time. I say, yo, what is it that's holding you back? What do you think it is? Well, I don't know. Well, why do you feel like you don't know what it is? What does it feel like? Does it feel heavy? Like, work it down. Work it down a bit, all right? If not, we can work together. Link in the bio. I'll put a link in my bio. One-on-one coaching. I do offer it. Month of May is a bit busy, but in June I should be open back up. And your vision does not need a committee vote. This ain't the elections. Right? Like, you don't need a committee vote. You could just go ahead and work on what it is that you want to work on, right? And your calling again is your calling. You are the one who answer your calling. And if you ever have a moment where you want to write out your vision, yeah, I got a whiteboard, but before this whiteboard, which I use it for lives, but I also use it for myself. Oh, thank you for the Cindy, I appreciate you. Thank you for the roses. Me and Cindy go back. If you ever want to just write out what you do, this is Dollarama. This is the dollar store. I finished it. It was a gift to me at a conference. I went back and bought more because I love the paper of it. It's stone paper. Go and buy a book. Go and buy a book. Get a pen. My pen's over there, but get a pen. Write out what your vision is, because you see it all the time. And another way, if you ever have a problem where you can't see a vision, you got to find a pretty quiet spot. You sit down, you chill for a moment, center yourself, and just allow your brain to just see. It's going to be hard in the beginning, but over time, you're going to be like, yo, okay, okay. There's so much stuff I've seen that it brings me to tears because sometimes I'm afraid of what I see. Like, I sometimes have to question, like, is this real? But it keeps reoccurring every time, the same vision. So just sit down with yourself. It's a month of May. We're finally getting out of the winter. Thank you, Jesus. We're finally getting out of the winter bit by bit. This is the time for you to sit down and recalibrate what it is that you want for the next how many months. And it doesn't have to be the whole year. Just focus maybe on the next 2 years, the next 3 years. Sorry, thanks for the piece of advice. I struggle with getting things out of my head. Yeah, trust me, I used to struggle a lot with getting things out of my head and onto paper. There's 2 things that I did was, dollar store, pen. I recommend personally, get a book that you like. Because the more that you like the book, the more that you even like the paper, funny enough, it's going to draw you more to write some more. Get a pen that you like. Maybe you have a specific pen. There's only one pen that I ordered and someone gifted it to me. I found out what it was and I just ordered a box because I like the pen. It draws me more to actually writing out and journaling things out. And you don't always have to write things out. There's video journaling. Maybe sometimes you just sit there with your phone and you just, for you, not posting it, nothing. You just say like, yo, man, and just talk, have a conversation. If that is uncomfortable, same thing on your phone. Record, audio do it. Like, audio record a journal. Technology is there, y'all. Like, let's use it for our own well-being, right? I like to give my clients options primarily because, yeah, not everybody's going to sit down and write down. I get that. I 1000% get that. Another option you could do is the voice to text on your notepad. I do this. If there's moments I got a thought, this always happens to me when I'm like half asleep and a thought comes in my head. I ain't about to write it down. I'm not putting my glasses on to write nothing down. So what I'll do is I'll grab my phone and I do text to speech on my phone. So that's great for journaling. That's great for just ideas when you're on the go. And then you pin it and then you go back and you just work on it again. That's it. We have to open up the possibilities. I know that a lot of people have just, and I used to think journaling was the only thing and writing things out until I said, nah, like there's got to be other ways. So I started trying other ways, and you're seeing them. For example, I saw a video, I think some of you may have saw it, where someone wrote, a or no, they videotaped themselves, and then a year ago, and then a year later, they came back, and they did a splice. There was a thing that people were doing of in between, and it was like, "Ah, this is such a great idea." I did not do it because I don't got time for it, but maybe I will eventually at some point. But it was pretty cool. Use the technology; it's there for us. We got to start using it for the betterment of ourselves. So yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown. I'm gonna get out the way again, just in case you want to screenshot it. But yeah, in terms of like stop sharing our dreams, we got to start being more selective of who we're sharing them with, who we're giving access to. And the first one is important because this is where the real, you got to do this one, which is to stop the validation. If you're a former people pleaser, we look for the validation in certain people in our lives, unfortunately, but it takes time. It all takes time. And another, if I'm just gonna add this super quick, I think we talked about it last week. In order for this to no longer be a factor, you have to set boundaries. I'm so sorry for my horrible handwriting. My mama gonna cuss me if she ever sees this. But you have to set boundaries in order for the people pleasing part to kind of dismantle. Okay. And I'm gonna be one more last thing I'm gonna say real quick. If you are a child of an immigrant, you're probably a people pleaser. There's a good chance. There's a very good chance you're probably a people pleaser if you're a child of an immigrant, because they had to do the same thing and it just carried on and carried on and carried on. So it's our responsibility to now remove that. We don't got to do it anymore. Okay. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I gotta go. If you're new here, follow me, subscribe on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. Remember, in order, you can't share, you got to stop sharing your dreams with people who can't see them. If they can't see it, they can't see what you're doing, they can't see what you're working on. How you going to share your vision and your dreams with them? You understand? All right. I may see you next Sunday. I'm not going to lie to you. Next Sunday is my birthday. I don't even know if I'm going to go live. I haven't really made up my mind yet. Honest to God, I don't know. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for dropping by. I'll let y'all know if I'm gonna go live next week, Sunday. I haven't made up my mind yet because again, it is my birthday and I just want to do not a damn thing, partially, but at the same time, I always love to chat with you folks. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're well, check out the podcast as well. It's on YouTube. I left the link in the bio on TikTok. If you're on YouTube watching this, you already know what it is. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for dropping in. I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, I'll let you know if I'm gonna go live next Sunday. I haven't made my mind yet. I only have a steak on my mind and a glass of whiskey with a cigar. That is what's on my mind for next Sunday. Anywho, I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's live. Y'all know what to do. Walk with peace, walk with love.